Hey guys, and welcome back to Take Two. It's Tiffany here, and this is the first time that I've done this, but this is actually going to be a solo podcast for today. I don't have Ron with me. Boo. And I'm sure he'll be sad when he realizes that I did a podcast without him. But sometimes there are things that are on my mind that I want to get out and convey to everyone and kind of get other people's thoughts. And by the time him and I go to do our podcast, because we typically do them on Sundays, that thought has either left my mind or it's his turn to come up with the topic. And, I don't want to steal his thunder or anything. So I decided, hey, while I have the opportunity today, I have something on my mind that, a thought that's been in my head, kind of something that I've been dealing with, not anything bad, but I kind of wanted to come on and just talk about it. And then eventually at some point get others' thoughts or opinions about it, because I know that I'm not the only one that has gone through something like this. So before I get into that, if there are any other podcasters that listen to Take Two, that listen to our podcast, can you please help me with this daunting task? And I say daunting because I cannot seem to figure it out to save my life. And because I am so into technology and things like that, it's bothering me that I can't get this. Like, usually I will keep looking and keep looking and keep trying until I get it. And that way I don't have to ask for help, because I'm usually the person that people come to ask for help. But I am just having the hardest time. I want to have like an intro or like intro music for our podcast, and I cannot figure out how to do it without having to do it on like a desktop or my laptop. Like I want to be able to do it from my phone. So I don't know how possible that is, if there is an app for that, because there's an app for everything else in this world. But if any other podcasters who are savvy at this type of thing, if you can like reach out to me in some kind of way, whether it's on my email, whether it's on social, Twitter, IG is Hold the Mayo, with 2 D's. So just find a way to hit me up and let me know, because this has really been bothering me. And even once I get home tonight, I'm probably still going to try to find a way to figure this thing out. So if anyone could help me with that, I would greatly appreciate it, because like I said, it's been very daunting in the fact that I can't figure out how to do it. And I'd like a little cool intro to each episode, instead of me saying, hi guys, or hello, like I did yesterday. I'm just trying to find something to like spice it up without being a creep, which is what I've been doing up until this point. So anyway, back to the topic at hand. So you may have heard Aaron and I speak before in previous podcasts about him not liking the fact that I am a smoker, or was a smoker. I have been smoking on and off probably since I was around 17. In the beginning, it started as a social thing, and then as I got older and of age, I would smoke when I was drinking. Now, I've always told everyone that I can quit smoking whenever I want. A lot of people would consider it an addiction to nicotine, which it is. But for so many years, I've been able to like turn it on and off. The last time I stopped smoking for a decent amount of time was probably back in 2012, 13-ish. And I stopped smoking for 2 years because I was heavy into my fitness and my health and wellness, and smoking cigarettes and trying to run or do any type of exercise does not really go hand in hand. So I knew that if I wanted to have a healthier lifestyle and I wanted to get back in shape, that I had to let the smoking go. And I did, and it was super easy for me. I did it cold turkey. I didn't wean myself off or anything like that. And I lost a good amount of weight because I was able to go running, which is one of my all-time favorite ways to exercise. I was able to do Insanity. I was able to be on the stationary bike for hours without feeling like I needed to pass out. And I just felt overall, I just felt healthier. Like when you smoke, and I don't know if any smokers out there can contest to this, but when you smoke, it's like a layer of filth to me. That's what it like feels like you feel dirty. And when you don't smoke, you feel clean, you feel light, you feel airy. And so not smoking, I felt clean. Like I felt like my body was clean. I felt like from a health standpoint, I felt like everything was on the up and up. But then for whatever reason, I fell off the wagon and I started smoking again. And I've been smoking since then. So fast forward to now, and Aaron is not a fan of smoking. And this is how he knows that he loves me, because he's always said he would never date a girl who smokes. He thinks it's the most unattractive thing, and it is his biggest pet peeve in another person. So the fact that he not only loves me, but will kiss me after I smoke or be around me says a lot about how he feels. And with that being said, I'm like, if he can take me for who I am, faults and all, like this nasty habit that I have, the least I could do is try to work on this habit, get rid of it, and kind of, kind of just adhere to what he's asking of me, and from a health standpoint, stopping this habit would probably be the best thing for my health. So I can't blame him for, wanting to make me a better and healthier person, so that in the long run, we can be together longer. I remember when I was, my last job, somebody told me that, every cigarette that you smoke, every puff you take takes 12 seconds off your life. And if that's something that is a true statistic, then of course I want to be able to live as long as I possibly can to see my children, my grandchildren, and my great-grandchildren grow up. So, since Aaron and I have started dating, I've always said that if he ever, without going into too much detail, because we haven't released this podcast yet, where we're talking about the specific event, but I've always told him that if this day in particular that I'm speaking of came, I would give up smoking. So that day has come and gone. And as of this Friday that has just passed, today is Monday, Friday after work was my last cigarette. So I've gone through the whole weekend. I think about it sometimes because I'm used to going and smoking a cigarette after certain parts of my day. So when I wake up in the morning, I'm used to going outside. After I've eaten, I'm used to going outside. If I've done something and it seems like it's been very strenuous, I go outside because that's what relaxes me and calms me down. So I've thought about it a few times over the weekend, but it wasn't anything that was like, oh, I'm like seriously going through withdrawals until today. And this is kind of why I wanted to do this podcast, because today was probably the worst day since Friday in regards to not smoking. I'm used to smoking before I leave to go to work. I'm used to smoking once I get to work, smoking on my lunch break, and then smoking when I get off. So today when I got here, I got my breakfast. I didn't go outside like I usually do. I was fine. But fast forward to about an hour or so before it's time for me to go to lunch. And I know that this is usually around the time where I eat my lunch and I go have a cigarette. And I knew that I wasn't going to be able to have one. And I literally felt like I was going through the shakes. Like I felt the withdrawal. I don't know if it was a combination of me being hungry and not having the nicotine, but I just felt like I was going to burst at the seams. And that's what I texted Aaron, and I told him, I said, I'm freaking out. Like, I just felt like if I didn't get some nicotine, I was going to explode. And it was not a good feeling. I did not like feeling like that and feeling like the nicotine had that power over my body. But I ate, and then I felt a little bit better. And then I didn't start to get that feeling again until it was getting closer for me to get off. But it wasn't as bad as right before lunch. And it was to the point where, I'm walking around Union Station and I'm looking at everybody who's just going about living their normal everyday life. And I'm like, how do you function without smoking? I'm just looking at them like, how is this even possible? Like, how does anybody function without having a cigarette? And I know that that's just the withdrawals talking, but I literally felt like I was going to Hulk out on somebody. And I really think it had to do not only with the withdrawal of the nicotine, but for me being hungry as well. And I don't know. I lost my mind, or I was in the process of losing my mind. And I had to take a step back and I had to say, you know what? You can do this. Just get through it. They say after 21 days, it becomes a habit. So after 21 days of no smoking, it won't be this bad. It won't be something that I feel like I'll absolutely need, and I'll be good. But I can't help but to think about all of the things and the activities that I'll be doing in the future where I would usually smoke and I won't be smoking. So like when we go on trips or when we go on this cruise or when we whatever, I'm like, oh, I would usually be out on the balcony smoking, having my little cocktail and, just chalking it up with whoever. That ain't happening no more. And the sooner that I get that out of my head, the better that we all will be. Because, when I first went on this journey, my mom was like, oh my God. She's like, I'm going to make sure I stay away from you for the next few days because you're going to be a raging bitch. And I was like, I don't feel like that's going to be the case. I don't feel like I'm going to be, raging out of control or being like a lunatic because I'm on medication for mood stabilizers for my depression. And I just don't feel like, I'm going to be that bad. But I will say I was a little feisty this weekend. So I do apologize to my mom and to Aaron and to whoever else. Luckily, they're very understanding of what's going on, and they know that this is not going to be something that's super permanent. So I just wanted to come on and kind of vent that. Like I said, kind of get some feedback from others. I just want to know, it doesn't have to be smoking, but what is something that you've given up and it was a little bit harder than you thought it would be? It could be anything, social media, your cell phone. These are things that people are really big on these days. And when you're used to doing something or having something for so long and then you have to kind of get rid of it, it's really hard. It's a lot harder than you thought it would be. And, Aaron pokes fun at me because he's like, oh no, you said this was going to be a piece of cake. You could do this. You could quit cold turkey, which is true. Because that's what I did. I didn't wean myself off. I had my last cigarette and I said, that's it, I'm done. And I haven't had one. But you have to realize that there are going to be side effects. There's going to be, these symptoms of withdrawals. My body is going through a withdrawal of something that it's had for years. So while I was able to just stop and I haven't snuck a cigarette or gone back, my body is still going through those cravings and my body is still going through the withdrawals of not having that nicotine. So yes, I'm going to be a little moody, but it's no different than me PMSing. So look, buddy, you're going to have to suck it up. Just kidding, babe. But, it hasn't really been that bad. And I am honestly grateful and thankful that he's pushed me and that he keeps telling me that I can do it. You know, sometimes I text him and I'm like, oh, I'm going to freak out, just hoping that he'll be like, babe, okay, just go ahead and have one. But he's standing his ground, which is making me stand my ground. And, you know, that is just a type of person that you need in your corner. And I'm so excited that he is in my corner and he has my back. And together, we're going to get through this. And I'm going to be so thankful to him in the long run. So I just wanted to come on and kind of like share that part of my life. You know, him and I come on here and we talk about different relationship topics and we joke about certain things, but we don't really get too personal. And I think that that should be a topic or a few topics that him and I do, because who are we really? You know, we want people to come on and listen to our podcast and kind of listen to the things that we discuss, but you don't really know much about us. And not that we would give all of our information away, especially Aaron, because he's way more private than I am. But I am all about sharing who I am. I like to have people read me. I'm an open book. So I like to invite people into my world so that they can see what I'm all about and what I like, because this is the world that I like to be in. I like to be socially out there, be that social butterfly, and just share my life with the world and meet new people and things like that. So I'm just really interested in having different segments where we can just like get to know our listeners and have our listeners get to know us. So yeah, that is my episode, my solo episode, my first solo episode for today. Like I said in the beginning, anyone listening, if you can help me with an intro, that would be fantastic. If you could just help me figure out how to even do that. Like, I know that I can mix the two audios together, but I just cannot seem to find an app or any type of tool that's helping me do that. So if anyone out there in podcast world, whether it's on iTunes, Spotify, Libsyn, whatever, please help me. But thanks for listening, guys. I hope you have a great night, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bye.